Hi guys, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be going through the reader's favorite books of 2025, aka the Goodreads Choice Awards. I have my iPad right here in front of me, and we're just going to go through the final round of this Goodreads Choice Awards because I actually missed the first round. There's two rounds. I missed the first one because I was like, oh, I want to record that for a video so that I can show you guys everything that was nominated. However, I did not get around to it, and now we are down to the top 10, I think, in each category, and that's what we're going to vote on. And I'm also, disclaimer, not going to vote in the categories that I have not read anything. Obviously, this year was not as good of a reading year for me. I did read a lot of books. Like, I think that I've read, let's see, on my Goodreads, I've read 71 books this year. That's a lot of books. That's a ton of books, and the year is not over yet. So I'm feeling good about it so far. There were a lot of books I think that came out this year that I could have read that I just didn't. So I think that the Goodreads Choice Awards, they are the most popular books, but I think that they have to be released in this year. I'm pretty positive. Don't hold me to that, but I'm just thinking. So we're just going to go in order of the categories that they have. And first, we're going to start with fiction. So on the fiction, it looks like they have The Summer Storms, The Correspondent, The Emperor of Gladness, My Friends by Frederick Backman, which is on my physical TBR. I have the book. It's looking at me in the eye. Haven't picked it up. The Three Lives of Kate Kay, The River is Waiting, Wild Dark Shore, The Names, The Academy, and We All Live Here. I've honestly only heard of one of these books, and that would be My Friend by Frederick Backman, and that's just because I own it, and also my friend read it, and she gave me her physical copy to read. So that's all I got. I actually can't vote in this round, so sorry to start off with a little bit of a dud. The next category is historical fiction, and we have Atmosphere, The Book Club for Troublesome Women, Isola, or Isola, maybe, Good Dirt, The Secret Book Society, Strangers in Time, The Stolen Queen, The Amalfi Curse, The First Witch of Boston, and Broken Country. We might be starting off with two duds. Have not read any of these books in this category. I've heard of Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's a very popular author. A lot of people read their books. And I also heard of The First Witch of Boston. I think it was maybe offered to me as a e-arc, and I didn't accept it because it didn't seem like something I would love. I'm going to be trying in 2026 to be reading more historical fiction. But my friend Courtney, who I love dearly, she reads all over the genres, and her big thing is read what you want to read. Like, I want to be not pretentious really in terms of reading. Like, I don't want to read like all the classics and be all literary. I just don't have that kind of brain. I just know that that's not me. But I am trying to branch out just a little bit from my normal. So we're not really cooking with these first two categories, but the next one is mystery and thriller. And I might have some reads on this. It just depends. Okay, I don't have any. I don't have any reads on this. We have The Perfect Divorce, The Secret of Secrets, Beautiful Ugly, Don't Let Him In, We Are All Guilty Here, King of Ashes, Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man, Not Quite Dead Yet, The Impossible Fortune, and The Tenant. I have heard of most of these books. Sorry to tell you, I haven't read any of them. Please don't click off this video just because of that. I'm so sorry. I thought I would have more to say. I didn't even look at the nominees, like the nominees at the beginning. I bet in the first video, I probably would have had a little bit more to say just because there would have been more options, but I haven't read anything. I have read some Frida McFadden books. I tend to enjoy them. They're like pretty average to above average for me, but I haven't read The Tenant. My friend Allison has it, and I wanted to borrow it from her, but I just literally, if you could see, you see all these shelves, I would say over 50% of the books on my shelves I haven't read. So I really need to get through some of those in this next year. That's going to be a goal of mine. Maybe in this next category, we'll start cooking, because the next category is indeed romance. So it looks like, okay. We're not cooking. The burners are off. The burners in my brain have been off. The oven's not preheating, and I haven't been cooking this year. There are some books on this list that I want to read, and I have like on my TBR and also physical copies of Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, The Favorites, Great Big Beautiful Life, One Golden Summer, Scythe and Sparrow, Say You'll Remember Me, Rewind It Back, Wild Side, King of Envy, and First Time Caller. Out of these books, I have not read any of them. Maybe this video is a wash. Maybe I shouldn't even put this video out because this is looking pretty, honestly, this is the reality of my year in reading, and maybe this will make some people feel better because I like to pride myself in being a reader. Like I said, I've read over 70 books this year. That was like mostly, I think, at the beginning of the year. Once we hit like the back half of the year, I've been really, really bad at reading during the summer. I don't feel like reading. I'm like out doing stuff. And then this fall is normally when I start to lock in. But I've been in like a perpetual state of watching Pride and Prejudice, the TV show and the movie, like swapping between the two over and over and over again. And then after that, I've been watching like slime tutorials of Hades Town online, every Hades Town slime tutorial that I can find. I've seen or I've listened to. So I've been pretty locked in on that. And then obviously Stranger Things comes out today in actually 3 hours in the time that I'm filming this. So I had to rewatch Stranger Things season 4. So I just really have not been a good reader in the back half of this year. So all of that to go back to reader's favorite romance, I have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. She's sitting on my shelves over there. I also have First Time Caller by B.K. Borson, also sitting on my shelf, my romance shelf over to the side that you can't see. So I do want to read both of those in this new year. I think in the first round, I saw Ali Hazelwood maybe say that she was nominated for one of her other books that I actually did read. It just didn't make it into this final round, which was Problematic Summer Romance. I did read that. And I could have voted on it. I did really enjoy that one, but I just haven't. All of these books, well, don't let me say all. More than half of these books are books that I want to read. Deep End, like I said, I have that. The Favorites, I want to read that. I have it on hold on Libby. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, I also have on hold. One Golden Summer, I heard a lot of good things, but I've never read anything by Carly Fortune. So if you have, just let me know if you like that or not. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I read two words. I read 2 books by Abby Jimenez this year, and I did enjoy them. Not any more than I enjoy like any of the other romance books. Like she's not one of my faves, but I think it's a good palate cleanser type romance. Rewind It Back, haven't read that series. Scythe and Sparrow. Hey, I hated Leather and Lark. I loved Butcher and Blackbird. Hated Leather and Lark. Cannot read Scythe and Sparrow just because of how much I didn't like the second book. Wild Side by Elsie Silver. I haven't read any of those. King of Envy. The first 3 books, I think, in this Kings of Sin series by Anna Huang, I was locked in, like completely sat and locked in. King of Wrath, King of Pride, and King of something, I don't know, it's the one about the married couple and they fight, whatever. Those 3 books, they had me in a death grip. And then we got to like King of I don't even know what it was. The one about I think it was a soccer player. Anyways, after the first 3 books in the Kings of Sin series, I think I was getting bogged down because I've read them really close to each other. So my friend Allison, who I mention all the time because she's my other reader friend, she told me I needed to read King of Envy like in a big way. I just haven't. She has it. I could borrow it at any time. Just haven't made it back to it. And then First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. I've heard great things about that one. People rave about that one. So I'll be getting into that probably in the new year though, not this year. So out of those 10, I can't vote on any of them. Sorry to tell you. On to Romantasy. Maybe I'll have something here. Oh, okay. There's one book here that actually 2 books. So here we have Onyx Storm, which is the 3rd book in the 4th Wing series. Wild Reverence. Oh, loved it. The Night and the Moth. Compodium. I can't read that word. Compendium. Emily Wild's Compendium of Lost Tales. Accomplice to the Villain, Alchemized, Mate, Shield of Sparrows, Enchantra, and A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. Out of these, I have indeed read, not 3, 2. I've read 2 of them. Onyx Storm. Hey, did not love it. Let me down really hard in like the last 1/4 of the book. Very disappointed in how that ended. It felt like a lot of nothing to get to nowhere. Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. That book 8 is so good. It's a prequel to Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, that duology. However, you don't have to read that duology to read Wild Reverence because it's a prequel, and it kind of gives you the world of Divine Rivals and how we got to what it is. But Divine Rivals is YA and Wild Reverence is an adult fantasy book or romantasy book. Definitely recommend Wild Reverence. The Night and the Moth I have checked out from the library. I've read like the first 15 pages. I'm getting into it. However, can't vote on it because I haven't read it fully. The Emily Wilde book I have not read. Accomplice to the Villain. Is that the 3rd book maybe in the Assistant to the Villain series? I liked the first 2. Don't know if I liked them enough to keep going. The first one, 8 down. The second one kind of lost me. Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. That is my book club book. It's currently Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. My book club is on Sunday. I've read the first 5 pages and I have to finish it before Sunday. So we're going to lock in during this break that I have. I don't have to work. We're going to do that. Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I loved Bride. Let me say it again. I loved Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And I have Mate on my shelf. You know, it's on my shelf. Like all the other books are on my shelf. So I have Mate sitting over there. I want to read it sometime. I like bought it the day that it came out only to not read it for the last 2 months. Shield of Sparrows have not read. Enchantra, is that the first book? That might be the second book. I think the first book is maybe red covered. I don't know. And then A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. That feels more like a cozy romantasy. I have not read that either. So we're going to vote for Wild Reverence in this round. Hey, we're 4 rounds in and I finally voted. Actually, we're 5 rounds in and I voted on something. If you stayed this long, thank you for being here. Next up, we have the fantasy category. And out of this one, I have read approximately 0 of these. Okay, so we have The River Has Roots, Alchemy of Secrets, Wind and Truth, Catabasis, The Devils, The Strength of the Few, Water Moon, The Raven Scholar, The Sirens, and Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I think that in the original nominations of this, there was a T. Kingfisher book. It was Hemlock and Silver, I think. I would have voted for that. However, she didn't make it this far. So I have not read anything in this final round of nominees. I don't know anything about... I know Alchemy of Secrets is written by Stephanie Garber, which is the same author that wrote Caraval and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I hold so near and dear to me. I want to read Alchemy of Secrets. I've heard mixed reviews from Stephanie Garber lovers, though, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. I'm going to try to be more diligent about looking into the books that I'm putting on my TBR and potentially picking up because I want to actually finish them. I have DNF'd a lot of books this year. Some of it just because I wasn't feeling it, maybe not the right time, but other reasons why I have done it is just because not really into the whole concept. So I want to look a little bit further, like maybe read the blurb on the back of the book and also read like the Goodreads blurb that they put, because sometimes those are different. And I want to really get into a little bit more research behind the books that I'm reading before I do so. So I haven't read Alchemy of Secrets. The Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is like the most recommended fantasy author. I have heard Brandon Sanderson over and over and over again. I don't think I'm ready. I'm not ready for a fantasy book, a high fantasy book. Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Love R.F. Kuang. Love her writing. This one I checked out from the library last month and I just did not get around to it. I'm going to try to check it out again, as I say, in the new year. I think I will like this. It gives me a similar, sort of vibe to the Alex Stern series by Lee Bardugo. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I don't know that one. The Strength of the Few by James Islington. I'm gonna get into that because I really loved last year. The Will of the Many, I think, was my number one book of the year, or like one of my top 5 books of the year. The Will of the Many. Like I said, have not been in the mood to read in the second half, and this came out last month or this month, so I just haven't gotten into it, and I want to reread The Will of the Many before I go into The Strength of the Few because I want it fresh, because I was into The Will of the Many. Water Moon, I don't know that one. The Raven Scholar, don't know. The Sirens, I think I got that offered as an e-arc, and it maybe spanned over like 3 different generations or something maybe, and I really don't love books that are like multiple timelines. I just don't love that. It's not really my thing, which is also my problem with Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I actually DNF'd this book. I think I read like the first 13 or 14 chapters. I just couldn't. I just wasn't into it. I don't like going back and forth in POVs when the POVs are literally hundreds of years apart. I can't get into it. So I did DNF Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. So for this fantasy round, I actually can't vote in anything. And I might only be able to vote in Romantasy. Okay, so next up, science fiction. I might not have a lot to say about science fiction, but we're going to go through it. Yeah, I don't. Just upon first glance, I know that I don't know any of these books. Of Monsters and Mainframes, Death of the Author, The Dream Hotel, I think we've been here before, The Poppy Fields Shroud, When the Moon Hits Your Eye, The Compound, Automatic Noodle, and The Book of Lost Hours. I don't know. I'm sorry. Next, horror. In horror, we have The Bewitching, Play Nice, Bat Eater, and Other Names for Cora Zhang, Buffalo Hunter. Is that supposed to be Hunter twice? Yeah, The Buffalo Hunter. Okay. Never Flinch, We Love You Bunny, Hungerstone, The Lamb, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and The Possession of Alba Diaz. See, I'm kind of a little baby when it comes to horror. I don't like things that are gory or gruesome or going to make me feel like stressed out. I don't really love that, but I do love Stephen King. However, have not read Never Flinch. Out of these books, let's see. I have heard of The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. A lot of people have recommended that book. I might be able to get into it. I have another book by Stephen Graham Jones on my TBR, my physical TBR, that their publisher sent to me. That's called The Only Good Indians, maybe. That's what it's called. But I want to read that one too. Never Flinch, I could get into just because I love Stephen King. We Love You Bunny, that's the sequel to Bunny by Mona Awad, which is, hey, on my TBR shelf. Hungerstone, I requested that, didn't get it as an arc. The Lamb, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and The Possession of Alba Diaz. I don't really have much about those, so no voting in this round either. I'm really sorry, guys. This video is probably gonna suck. Okay, reader's favorite debut novel. The Lilac People, Junie, The Bright Years, The Correspondent, A Resistance of Witches, The Names, Homeseeking, Alchemized, The Irish Goodbye, and When the Tides Held the Moon. Jess, come on, please get it together. Haven't read any of these. Like I said, Alchemized, I'm reading right now for my book club. If this Goodreads Choice Awards was happening in like a week from now, I could at least maybe vote on that, but at this time I don't have anything to say about them. So audiobook, which I listen to a lot of audiobooks, so let's see here. Oh, okay. Alchemized, Atmosphere, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Broken Country, Great Big Beautiful Life, The Let Them Theory, Pride and Prejudice, Onyx Storm, Tourist Season, and My Friends. So I've already told you that I haven't read some of these books, so let's just go on to the books that I haven't talked about yet. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, they must have done a new audiobook with like a cast or something. I have not listened to that on Audible. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I've actually heard a lot of people talk about this book, and it's one of those self-help books where it's like, okay, yeah, that's good advice, but like to me it's kind of common sense, and I'm not trying to say that to be like above or sound arrogant or whatever, but the Let Them Theory is just like, oh, people are gonna make fun of you for this, let them. Well, yeah, duh, which I've let that part of myself go, like after college or being in college. I really don't care a lot about what people think. That's why I'm posting these YouTube videos for 20 people to see. I don't care. Me and my friend Haley are doing a podcast. We get about 25 views. I don't care. It's fun for me. I like to do the things that I enjoy. I enjoy sitting here talking to you about books that, hey, it's embarrassing that I haven't read a vast majority of any of these books that they've listed, but I'm still going to do this video and I'm still going to post it because maybe it's relatable to someone out there who enjoys reading but maybe just hasn't read a lot this year. So sorry, that's my spill about the Let Them Theory. I haven't read it. I don't think I need to read it because I think that's already how my mindset is. The Pride and Prejudice Audible original, I'm gonna listen to that because like I said earlier, I've been deep into Pride and Prejudice and I knew that they were doing this remake. I'm gonna have to get into it. Onyx Storm, I actually did listen to this as an audiobook after I read it. I thought maybe I'm just missing something with this book and the physical like copy of it, maybe that didn't do it for me. Maybe I need to listen to it as an audiobook. It still didn't do it for me. I'm not gonna vote for it. Taurus Season by Bryn Weaver. The same person that wrote Butcher and Blackbird. I may have to look into that. Okay, My French by Frederick Backman. Haven't read it. Okay, next. Reader's favorite young adult, so YA, fantasy, and sci-fi. Interesting. Okay. Hey, we'll be able to vote in this category. Rebel Witch, Heavenly Tyrant, Our Infinite Fates, Watch Me, The Rose Bargain, Fearless, Oathbound, Hazelthorn, Sunrise on the Reaping, and The Wings of Starlight. Have not read the first three or these two. I have read Fearless, which is the last book in the Powerless trilogy. Underwhelmed. Deeply, deeply, deeply underwhelmed. I expected more, to be completely honest with you. Oathbound, I have not read. Hazelthorn is on my TBR. I have the audiobook for it. Sunrise on the Reaping, girl, that's got my vote. Sunrise on the Reaping, I've said this multiple times. Suzanne Collins wrote it on her worst day, and I also think that it's a way to get us back for thinking that the casting for President Snow, Tom Blythe, in the movie of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think that's her way of getting back at us for saying that he was hot. I think that she wrote this book, she had a horrible day, and she said, F them for thinking he's attractive. And now we have Sunrise on the Reaping, and also we have the trailer, which I cried. And hey, the movie next year, it's going to ruin my life. So Sunrise on the Reaping, and I have not read any of these two books either. Next to YA fiction, probably, okay. We Fell Apart, Dating and Dragons, I Am Not Jessica Chen, The Thrashers, Falling Like Leaves, The Survivor Wants to Die at the End. Oh, okay. Glorious Rivals, Nobody in Particular, You Found Oliver, Fake Skating. Out of these books, out of this whole entire list of books, I've read one and I actually did really enjoy it, and that would be The Thrashers by Julie Soto. This book follows a pretty toxic friend group in a high school where somebody ends up dead and they're trying to figure out what happened. They're trying to figure out the circumstance around her death, and they have to talk to each person in this group known as the Thrashers and figure out the story behind this weird friend group and all the ups and downs that it's gone through. So I did really enjoy The Thrashers by Julie Soto. I'm going to vote on that. That's exciting. Okay, and next we have nonfiction. We might not be cooking with nonfiction. No, we're not. So we have Girl on Girl, Everything is Tuberculosis, The Service Berry, No More Tears, Murderland, One Day Everyone Will Always Been... What? One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This, The Idaho 4, Abundance, The New Age of Sexism, and The Let Them Theory. Have not read any of these. Okay, next is memoir and, oh, okay. The House of My Mother, Big Dumb Eyes, Vagabond, Nobody's Girl, Careless People, Share, Finding My Way, My Next Breath, 107 Days, and Semi Well Adjusted. I have read The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. Did like that book. The House of My Mother was really, really good. It is about the daughter, I'm voting for it. It is about the daughter of Ruby Frankie, who was a YouTuber who had a channel called 8 Passengers. And her and her husband had 6 kids, and they were so horrifically abusive to their children. And all while playing as a super Christian family. So I was really, really into, see, I hate saying the word into because it sounds insensitive. I watched I knew this was happening. First of all, I'm on the internet a lot and I'm on YouTube a lot. So I knew that when Ruby Frankie got arrested, and I knew 8 Passengers before she got arrested. I never watched it, but I was just like aware of the channel. And then she was arrested for child abuse. And then they come out with a documentary last year, I think, that was called The Devil Inside or something, and it was the Ruby Frankie story, and they interview Sherry and her son and her ex-husband, and they talk about all of the things. I think it's a 3-episode series. And then Sherry Frankie came out with this book called The House of My Mother, and it talks about her relationship with her mom and how it changed so much from the time she was a small child to being an adult. It was just really powerful. Sherry Frankie is a great writer, and I hope that she writes more books, like not memoirs. I mean, yes, memoirs if she wants, but she is such a good writer. The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie is getting my vote in memoir. Next is history and biography, and I am, thrilled to tell you that I don't know any of these books. Jane Austen's Bookshelf, How to Kill a Witch, The JFK Conspiracy, The Cure for Women, A Marriage at Sea, Sisters in Silence, Propaganda Girls, Original Sins, Mark Twain, and Baldwin. Those are above my pay grade, unfortunately. I might be interested in the JFK Conspiracy, The Cure for Women, Jane Austen's Bookshelf, but if I'm going to be really honest with you, I'm probably not going to read those. So those are all 10 categories of the Goodreads Choice Awards. And out of those 10 categories, I read books in 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't believe I didn't have a single book in the romance category. That's abysmal, honestly. That's abysmal for me. I've got to do better next year. Okay, so those are my votes for the Goodreads Choice Awards. If you read any of the books that are listed on this awards, and I like ones that I haven't read, let me know if you liked them, because I am interested in some of these books. I do want to read, especially a lot of the romance books and the romantasy. There were books on both of those that I obviously have on my shelves, or I have on hold, or I've just heard people talk about that I really do want to get into. So if you've read any of those, let me know. Thank you guys for watching this pretty, actually, honestly boring video, because I don't really have a lot to say about a lot of the books. It's just me literally listing and telling you what the books are in this category for the final round. So we'll find out in 5 days who wins each category. And I'm not going to do a video on them because, hey, that would be stupid considering I only voted in 4 of the categories. But I might do a TikTok. So follow me over there, TikTok at Jessvina Crass. And it's the same on all of my social platforms, including this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know what I should be reading next. Have a great holiday season. Bye.